Halo, kembali lagi di channel saya, guys. Saya bernamakan Lovaledi Kirana Siswoyo dengan NIM 2410866. Di sini saya akan nge-review bahasan kelas kajian media budaya dengan Pak Tovan dan mengkaitkannya dengan pop culture yang saya sedang demen banget nih. Nah, Pak Tovan itu ngebahas di kelasnya bahwa pop culture itu akan selalu berubah seiringnya waktu dan selalu akan ada sosial politik di balik semua karya seni itu. And I think that's a really good point where I think everything that we do as humans is political. The core of our own being is politics in itself. Nah, di sini aku mau banget ngebahas tentang the social politics and basically the breakdown of a Netflix series Alice in Borderland. Keren. Saya lagi demen banget sama seriesnya karena habis banget nonton dalam seminggu selesai 2 season. Keren. Anyways, nah Alice in Borderland ini I think it's a really interesting media in terms of how human and society crumbles and persevere in crisis ya. Alice in Borderland ini Netflix seriesnya is an adaptation of the manga and it has different directions and like a little bit of change in the storyline. I think I didn't really read the manga, but from what I have heard and reviewed on my own from the people, the character design and the characters personalities kinda apa ya, kayak ada perbedaannya di sana, kayak lebih dimanusiakan gitu. Kalau misalnya di manga itu biasanya di manga-manga itu lebih di exaggerate atau dilebih-lebihkan, dihiperbolakan biar kayak menonjol gitu. Tapi kalau di adaptasi Netflix-nya itu lebih down to earth and realistic. Nah, di sini Alice in Borderland we have our main character Arisu. He's such a cutie, I love him. Arisu ini sangat pintar dalam coba nge-survive in this Borderland. I'm trying to not spoil much about the series karena nggak asik juga kalau saya spoiler ya. Kalau mau harus nonton sendiri dan full 2 season karena ntar lagi season 3 mau keluar. Anyways, Arisu ini is a really interesting characters as the main protagonist of the story. He starts out as someone yang pengangguran dan doesn't have much to live for, and the only thing that motivates him are his friends Karube and Chota. Nah, Arise ini orangnya bisa dibilang sangat empathetic ya, he's an empath, he's very emotional and he loves his friends, he loves people. He got that human connection and basically a lovable character, someone that we can relate to easily. Sebagai karakter dia punya beberapa flaws. Kelebihan dia tadi bisa menjadi kekurangan, seperti dia itu terlalu emosional dan terlalu emotionally invested in people and he's always trying to save everyone. He puts people, I think in terms of he kind of puts other people first instead of himself. Nah, di Borderland ini sendiri aku bakal ngejelasin dikit. Basically it's Squid Game but better. I said my piece, it's better than Squid Game. Bayangin aja Squid Game but like lebih intense dan risk taking. Kalau misalnya Squid Game itu yeah, it's very straightforward, but in Alice in Borderland you've really got to think outside of the box. It's basically a survival of the fittest situation where you fight in games. There's 4 categories, just like the deck of cards. There's heart, there's clubs, diamonds, and clover. Yeah, clover. Yeah. Every category has its own way of playing the game. Like example, Hearts, the game of Hearts. Basically itu a game where it involves with toying and manipulating others people feelings, and it's a really like tactical game, and you really have to use your mind into it. Salah satu poin yang ingin aku tonjolkan di sini mengenai Alice in Borderland, yakni in the span of season, like in the middle of season 1 until the beginning of season 2, about the society of the beach, pantai. Nah, di sini di seriesnya The Beach ini adalah sebuah society yang mereka buat sendiri in this dystopian world where they basically have a structure and their own rules, walaupun di Borderland ini sama sekali tidak memiliki laws, rules, atau hukuman of free will. You just need to play the games. Nah, in the society of the beach that was made by the character Hatter, dia itu sebuah representasi dari the Mad Hatter from dari cerita yang Alice in Wonderland. That's why the title is named Alice in Borderland, karena setiap karakter itu memiliki basically a representation of each character from the Wonderland. Nah, the Hatter ini he made the beach, the society, within less than 6 months, and I think that's really interesting. In terms of in less than 6 months, they have made ranks, leadership, bahkan ilusi dari keelitan atau ilusi dari luxury. Nah, walaupun the beach ini kelihatan seperti paradise di sebuah situasi yang sangat hell dan bisa dibilang nggak ada harapan sama sekali, the beach ini bisa memberikan players atau orang-orang yang masuk kepada Borderland itu sebuah sanctuary, sebuah tempat aman. Nah, hierarki di beach ini sangat interesting dalam artian sangat nge-reflect dunia yang asli kita ini. Dalam artian punya sistem governance, punya resources, punya class divisions, punya leaderships, dan basically control. Saya bakal coba ngejelasin The Beach tanpa banyak nge-spoiler banyak tentang ceritanya. But The Beach itu apakah itu sebuah demokrasi, dictatorship, atau cuman control chaos? Apakah itu cuman chaos yang dikendalikan saja? Bisa dilihat The Beach itu sebuah society dari yang functional secara sekilas saja, tapi sebenarnya kita bisa ngelihat langsung ada banyak like the cracks in it, just like in our real society. Rules-nya yang mereka tekankan ini sangat opresif banget gitu, like kayak peraturan kita yang tumpul di atas, tajam ke bawah. Di sana kita bisa ngelihat Hatter sebagai leadernya dan the founder of the society The Beach, and how power can easily affect someone, like it drives you crazy. Di sana kekuatan itu bisa menjadi source of corruption instead of something that could be used for the greater good. Nah, Hatter ini sangat menekankan mengontrol orang-orangnya daripada ngepeduliin bagaimana orang-orangnya merasakan. Basically, he uses a lot of tactics of manipulation, and he hides crucial information from the people. Nah, basically society ini dibangun dengan pondasi ketakutan, dan sistem yang seperti itu tidak akan selamanya bertahan. Walaupun society The Beach itu kelihatannya sangat indah, sangat wah, it offers a sense of normalcy ya. But in reality it's not as beautiful as it may seem. Nah, Heather ini karena udah gila oleh kekuasaan, teman baiknya Aguni, he secretly killed him. Aguni itu nggak tega ngeliat temannya itu saking gilanya oleh power dan juga ke-influence oleh the people below him. So with Heather being dead, the new leader is Aguni. Nah, akhirnya The Beach Society itu runtuh karena adanya revolusi di kalangan the oppressed class atau orang di bawahan orang yang menguasai. We can see that the collapse of the society really reflects one of our own, where the oppressed rise against the ruling class. We can see that if we look at the historical revolutions kind of lens, or perhaps modern political, nah ada tema yang selalu akan terjadi di semua society, whether in fiction or non-fiction, di mana when a leader loses the sight of their people's need, maka the people will riot against that. Kita sebagai society akan selalu nge-fight for what's right and fight for our rights. Basically what I really like from the media Alice in Borderland, from specifically the Beach Society, it really reveals the characters of our people, and it really empathizes of the working class, and it gives us hopes in terms of the people who have power, the elites, or the corrupted society will always crumbles. And especially in our really trying times of the state of social political in Indonesia. Now, the final point that I would like to highlight is that from Alice in Borderland, we can learn that societies are fragile, especially when the power structure is really not that balanced between the people in power and the people in the working class. Other than that, we can learn from Alice in Borderland, where survival isn't just physical. It's also a mental and emotional strength in it. We can see from our protagonist, Arise, where his journey proves that intelligence and compassion matter as much as strength. It doesn't matter if you can lift weights, or run a mile. If you don't have empathy, you won't go that far in life. Other than that, we can learn that power always comes with a price. Jadi kekuatan itu selalu ada harganya, selalu akan ada yang kita sacrifice. It's only a matter of what you would do and what the lengths, how far would you go for power. And the last thing, reality is what we make of it. Nah, from Alice in Borderland, it really makes us questions about the ethicals of life, because even though we live different life, we have different point of view, it's all about the perception. Basically, it's I think therefore I am. So basically, Alice in Borderland ini nggak hanya survival thriller, nggak hanya psychology horror, it's also sebuah cerminan dari dunia kita sendiri, dimana series ini menyuruh kita untuk mempertanyakan society kita, dan apakah kita benar-benar orang yang mengontrol diri kita sendiri, atau kita cuma memainkan gamenya orang lain seperti Alice in Borderland. Keren. Nah, itu aja yang bisa aku depiksi dan aku bisa analisa dari pop culture media Alice in Borderland ini. Sekian dari saya, terima kasih.